What's up everybody, welcome back to the channel. Today we're starting a special set today because this is every 6th week, so I don't know how many weeks we've been doing this now, but this is 6th week, so we have a special team for you. We're finally using our mascot, we're finally using the Koraidon on a sun team. So if you like sun teams, this week is a good week for you guys because we're going to be using a sun team this whole week. Before we begin, like and subscribe, all that fun stuff, and let's get right into it. So we're finally using the big red lizard, we're finally using a Koraidon, and Koraidon, of course, Koraidon Hiro is our team captain for this week. Koraidon has this ability called Orichalcum Pulse, maybe you've heard of it before, and essentially what it does, it summons sun. And what do we have? We have a sun team, like I said, so we have Koraidon, Torkoal, and Ninetales, and Volbeat, yeah, Volbeat, I said that correctly. We have 4 Sunsetters, Photosynthesis Mon to give us extra power, and Koraidon also gets an extra boost to it as well. In the sun, Koraidon gets a 1.33 attack boost, which is a free life orb, and coming off a 135 base power, this thing is a beast. This thing is top 1 and 2, always alternating with Miraidon in usage in the Uber's tier on Smogon for a reason, and that's because this boy hits really hard and hits really fast too at a 135 speed. It's the fastest thing on our team, I think. No, it's actually speed tied with Flutter Mane. Yeah, that does sound right. I did remember that correctly. Had a little brain fart there. But yeah, it hits hard and hits very fast. And this is its classic set. That's what I think. When I think of Koraidon to get the best possible usage out of it. So of course we're going to be using Collision Course, its signature move, right? Stab fighting move, 100 base power that does 33% more damage if it's super effective. So if this goes off on and I'm just giving an example, if we go Zangoose, right? It's probably going to faint anyway because it's going to be hit twice as hard, but it's twice as hard because super effective damage plus 33% more power into it as well. So it's going to be doing a lot of damage. This is our main stab move of choice, with the secondary being the Dragon Claw, right? And I know what you're thinking, oh, why Dragon Claw over something like an Outrage? Just because Dragon Claw gets a lot more usage out of it. Outrage, I'm locked in a move. I don't want to ever be locked in a move with this Koraidon set. And then Flame Charge plus Swords Dance. So Flame Charge will essentially give us Fire Stab in the sun. So this will help boost this 135 speed, and already this 135 attack, so it's already going to hit really hard. The goal is to either Swords Dance, so it's kind of like the Rhydon Dancing Dino set way back in BDSP, go check that out. Essentially we get up either speed or attack first, right? And if we're at +2 with this Koraidon, well, we're guaranteeing almost a sweep on this team. We're high chance we're going to sweep our opponent, right, at +2. And if we can get our speed up at +1, because Scarf Koraidons are a thing and they are very deadly, hitting at +2 power, so is at 1, that's 270 about, and then about 1.5 speed, a lot of speed, and we're going to be hitting really hard, really fast. This dragon's going to be unstoppable. So that's the goal of this, to get Koraidon sweeps. We face many Koraidons, we see how much damage they do to us, and you know what, it's time to, as the mascot of the channel, we're going to be the Koraidon master. We're going to show off its full potential here, if that makes sense. Yeah, so that's why we're going with specifically a sweeping set. No banded, no banded, no scarf, no AV, no fancy stuff. This is just plain and simple. We're going to smash your face in. So that's what this set is for. Of course, we're running Jolly for the maximum speed because our power is already going through the roof. So if we can get as much speed, my gosh, I can't talk, as much speed as possible, with Tera Fire to boot, so that gives us Fire Stab in addition to Sun, we can take a lot of things, including the Flutter Manes as well, as I've preluded to earlier, because we do have the same speed, so we will outspeed, or we won't we'll speed tie Scarf, Flutter Manes, and Photosynthesis, Booster Energy Flutter Manes. But at least with Tera Fire, we can take any fairy move. So that's the goal with Tera Fire. Our defensive Sunsetter is Torkoal, the Torkoal, making a return. Stealth Rock, Lava Plume, Body Press, Rapid Spin. The same exact spread as in our Turtle sets. I like turtles. And yeah, it's the same exact thing. I don't know if it'll go first. There's many different options for lead, right? So we can always lead Torkoal. That's always like a great option. 8 turns of sun, right? Get up the rocks for free, spin away hazards. You know, that could always be an option. But we also have Romeo and Kushina in the back as well. Heat Rock over Heavy Duty Boots, of course, and I was debating maybe Boots will be better here, so you might see that change in the session. But Heat Rock will give us 8 turns of Sun, right? And that'll make the best usage for basically all the fire monsters except Plump King. So that might be better, but Boots for hazard purposes, yeah, that might be a change you might see. Right, and of course, we want to get up our rocks, spread burns with lava plumes, because it is sun boosted lava plumes. 85 is nothing to sneeze at for special attack, in the sun especially. So we can spread our burns, get rid of hazards, because we will move slower, and then fire off body presses and just do damage after damage after damage. We're going to be in a good spot. So that's the goal with Torkoal. And it's pre-alluded to, Romeo making a debut. Yes, Romeo the Volbeat. And the whole purpose of a prankster Volbeat is to get up our weather, because this thing lost access to Toxic. And I don't think it has Taunt anymore either. Let's see. No, it does have Taunt, so it does lose access to Toxic. But, you know, we're going to use it as a weather setter instead, right? There's no hazards. Volbeat doesn't have any hazard setting. So we get up our sun. We have 8 turns of Sun. Heat Rock here. Thunder Waves to spread paralysis, which will help a lot when getting the Koraidon sweeps, right? U-turn for switch initiative. And in the event that we ever have to switch our item, so this is kind of, in a sense, a trick trapper, as I'm liking to call it. Essentially, like if we have Scarf Rotom, right? Like, we're gonna get our Sun first. And the Rotom is gonna trick the Scarf to us, and it's gonna get a Heat Rock. Look at a useless item, quote unquote, right? So in a way, they're getting a useless item, we're getting a better item. You can U-turn out, it'll give us a +1 speed, and you know, it'll do a lot of switch initiatives. So that's why I call it a trick trapper, because we also have trick as well. We can get our item back. We can always what likes to be choiced or AV'd, like for example, I'm just gonna pick one, the Choice Banded Spiritomb we faced way back when, right? If we gave this thing a Heat Rock instead, yeah, I can switch up its moves, but it loses that immediate power of Choice Band. So if we can get that trick off in any clutch moments, that'll be very useful for us. So that's why we're running trick, right, instead of taunt or anything like that. Also, it gives us a chance to get our items back in case we do have to switch in Volbeat, because Volbeat is built Spadef, so it will take at least 1 or 2 hits before going down, especially in Sun. So Hydro Pumps from Rotoms, for example, it will eat those hits. So if we get our item taken, we can always trick it back. Pre-alluded to earlier, Lilith, the Flutter Mane, making a debut. Another one of the Misdreavus lines, Misdreavus, Mismagus, now Flutter Mane, right? It is in the Ubers tier, yeah. Yeah, it is. Yeah, we are using 2 legendaries. So what? We face legendary spammers this whole time. Give me a break, right? So Photosynthesis with the choice spec. So how this thing is built. So of course it's running its, I guess, typical moveset, right? Shadow Ball, Moonblast, Mystical Fire, Psyshock, right? Psyshock's for those poison types. Mystical Fires for steel types, especially in the sun. That's going to hit really hard. And Shadow Ball plus Moonblast for general coverage hits just about everything. But the way that this Flutter Mane is built, if you notice, Photosynthesis will boost the highest stat by 30% or 50% if it's speed. So how it's built, because we have specs at +1 already, it didn't make sense to go modest. So I went with Timid to get the speed higher, so we can be at +1 speed, +1 attack. And essentially just fire off these nuclear moves, basically, with Shadow Ball and Moonblast, right? And yeah, we'll be locked into a move. So it's just as long as we're able to punch through our resistances or weaken them enough and then be able to break through with Flutter Mane, Lilith is going to be very hard to stop. It's going to be kind of be our positional pivot, basically. If we can U-turn out with Romeo and get a switch in on a, I don't know, facading Zangoose, right? We'll be able to resist the hit, and guess what? If we're at +1 speed and the sun is up, we're going to be firing this deadly Moonblast and it's going to destroy everything. So that's the goal. Of course, prediction as well, right? Shadow Ball is probably the move. We'll click 9 times out of 10 just because it hits everything but normal types, and dark types aren't going to want to come in on Flutter Mane. So yeah, that's the whole purpose of it. It's going to be a nuke, weaken the team, weaken our opponents, punch holes, do a lot of damage. And yeah, I mean, there is a lot of bulk to it, 135 bulk. It doesn't have a lot of HP. So as long as we can send it in on a special attacker and weaken the physical attackers, should be fine with Lilith. Don't be surprised we get a Lilith sweep too, because this thing hits very hard, very fast, especially in Sun. Plum King is our specially defensive wall. It's made specifically special defensive, made like Gudra, Surf, Flamethrower, Psychic, Ice Beam, because Psychic Fire coverage is near perfect coverage, as well as Water Ice coverage is also near perfect coverage. And it's built just like Gudra, it's built to last, except it has Regenerator. So meaning every time I switch this thing out, it will get 33% of its health back. And you know, it can be very annoying. Slowking has this 100 base special attack, boosted to the max with modest nature, and a big high HP stat. Right? And the goal is to fire off Surfs, and I know what you're saying, why you have Sun if you're running Surf, right? But this is just in case we need to run it on, like, if someone counter weathers us with rain, right? We can always use Slowking as kind of a little divergent tactic, right? Then set it our appropriate Sun setter, right? It'll take the water hits, right? And in the Sun, flamethrowers, Scizors don't want to take flamethrowers. Grass types don't want to take flamethrowers. So Brute Bonnets, although we do have to worry about outspeeding us, if we can get a counter flamethrower off on the switch in or whatever, it's going to do a lot of damage, especially in Sun. Psychic is just for general coverage, and Ice Beam for general coverage as well. Hits ground types, right? Make sure we're not a sitting duck. You know, Slowking, I think Gudra hits harder than Slowking. I have more luck with Gudra than Slowking, but Slowking was just the perfect fit for this team. Just in terms of its bulkiness and being a special wall. So best of luck to Slowking. It is its debut set. 30 speed is also if someone wants to run Trick Room, we have a counter. So yeah, hopefully it'll take all the hits and we can use it wisely. Again, it's meant to eat the hits, be a little divergent, and then distraction rather, and then set in the appropriate monitor, switch in, get our Sun back up, and hopefully send in Lilith or Koraidon to just destroy the opponent. Last but not least, another special attacker is Kushina, the Ninetales, with Drought, Heat Rock, so getting our Sun back up, as I said. Except it's running Nasty Plot, Solar Beam, Flamethrower, and Scorching Sand. So because of this was introduced in Gen 8, Scorching Sands, which is basically ground type Scald. A lot of Pokemons get it. Charizard, Ninetales, Palossand, for example, too, for non-fire type, gets it, and essentially it will spread burn like Scald, right? It's ground type Scald. Right, with Tera Ground, yeah, we are still susceptible to the grass and water moves, but again, if we have Sun up, Flamethrower gets rid of grass, Solar Beams hopefully gets rid of water, Ice, Flamethrower, right, and we have Stab on that Scorching Sand. So Ninetales, if we can set up at +2, 100 speed is really fast, 81 times 2 is going to hit really hard. So it's not meant, Kushina is not meant to really stay in the battle for long. It's just meant to do a lot of damage really quickly. Be a good feeder to kind of destroy, weaken our opponent, get some KOs if necessary, and then let the rest of the team kind of build on its destruction, right? Build on the damage, right? Hopefully grind down the opponent enough when we get the big hitters in. Again, Lilith, especially Koraidon, destroy the opponent. So let's go to the Pokepace here. Is it going to load this time? Here it is in all its glory. Here's the Sun team in all its glory. Yeah, hopefully it'll be as successful or not as the Rain team. I don't know as of this recording, as I'm going to go on a trip as of this recording. So I don't know really the result of the Rain team yet. But yeah, the goal is to get Koraidon in the spotlight. So if we have to use Koraidon last, we will use Koraidon last just for the content, just to show off our mascot. And yeah, with that being said, thank you guys for watching, all the support. Thank you for staying with this longer team build. I'm trying to be more explanative of my tactics and what the team is about to introduce the cast for the week. So yeah, wish us luck. And I know we're using 2 Ubers. If you guys don't mind that, I would deeply appreciate it. But yeah, thank you guys for watching and all the support, and I'll see you in the battles. But until then, bye-bye.